If you're anything like me, your entry into automotive culture came from a combination of Initial D, Gran Turismo, and UK's Top Gear. Today we're going to look at the combination of the first two and how they cross over with each other in the newest version of Gran Turismo. Many of the cars from Initial D are in Gran Turismo 7 and available to upgrade to match the cars from the series, but unfortunately we do not have a Japanese mountain pass like Mount Akina to test these cars out on. So the closest substitution we have in-game is the famous Nurburgring Nordschleife. So this begs the question, if Initial D took place in Germany rather than Japan, would Takumi still be hurting feelings on tourist days at the Nordschleife like he does on the mountain passes in Japan? The story of Initial D is all about driver skill and teaching us that even a older and underpowered car driven by a skilled driver can outperform a more powerful car driven by somebody less experienced. Not only do we have an AE86 within Gran Turismo, but it is specially tuned to pay homage to the Initial D series and its creator. This specially tuned version seems to match the car from the series after Takumi has blown his engine and it has been replaced with a 20-valve 4AGE professional race engine. This engine was capable of well over 200 horsepower, and in the game it gives us 207 horsepower, as well as the carbon fiber hood, which is referenced in the details of the game. This is specially built for the creator of Initial D, Shuichi Shigeno, and it has been a version in the game since Gran Turismo 3, and you can buy it in the used car dealership when it comes available for a little under 100,000 credits. But unfortunately, it's not always available. And if you look in the car index page, there's additional information telling you that this car was made to order for the author of Initial D, and that it's 100 kilograms lighter thanks to the carbon composite hood in place of the heavier stock unit. This is the first time in Gran Turismo that the interior is fully detailed in the car, and it's assumed that this is actually the interior of Shigeno's personal AE86 that inspired the car in the anime series, and we even get the AC cup holder on the dash and the red interior. This car also comes with the RS Watanabe wheels, which are only available through this professionally tuned version of the vehicle. And of course, the carbon fiber hood is standard. Combining this with the showroom liveries that are available from various users, and you can get a car that looks very similar to the car from the anime series. And there's even a fog light upgrade to get the car 100% like the car from Initial D. So now we must see how this car performs on a lap of the Nürburgring. And this is of course the default car with tire and fuel wear enabled, and it is on the default sport hard tires that it comes with. And I can say straight away, this car is not set up for drifting around mountain passes. It's definitely set up for road racing, and you need to try and maintain the grip performance of the car. As you can see, it's very easy to get the car to oversteer, especially at high speeds. When the car has very little downforce, you get a lot of oversteer, and you have to be quick to catch it because it does not slide around very easily. It does slide a little bit, but ultimately you really need to be careful with the weight transfer. Even here in braking, the car is very easy to oversteer, and so you have to be careful. As you can see, the weight transfers a lot under braking, and there's very little weight on the rear of this car already. And that means in the high speed sections you have to be very careful and use all of the track and smoothly transfer the car through these high speed corners, because at any moment the rear could step out from a little bump and you have to quickly catch it. And then in the lower speed sections the car easily gets throttle on oversteer. And of course we must use the gutter technique to the best of our abilities here on the carousel, although it's not quite the same as Mount Akino. I will say that the mid-speed sections of the course are really where the car feels the most stable and where you really feel like you can throw it around and feel confident pushing it in around 4th gear. But this is probably where on a tourist day you'd be wearing out the bumper of the cars ahead of you, trying to get past them, only for them to let you by and then immediately re-overtake you on the straightaways. Now imagine in an alternate universe where the initial D series took place in Germany, this area here at YouTube Corner would be where the crowd would be gathered to see who's ahead at this point in the lap. Unfortunately, we don't have 5 consecutive hairpins to set up for the overtake at the Nürburgring, so Takumi would definitely have to do it sometime before the Dottinger Straight. The only real advantage of the Nürburgring is that it's pretty narrow, so once you make an overtake, you could probably make your car very wide and make it difficult for anyone to pass you, even in something like a small AE86. Once again here, you really see the car likes to slide around, and you have to be very careful through this whole section. You're tiptoeing around at the limit of grip. And this car, of course, is not very stable at high speeds. And even more so, if you touch these curbs, it really bounces the car around. And you'll see coming up here in the last few corners, you really have to watch out. I turn in a little too early here, touch the curb, and the car just starts to oversteer as it oscillates off that curb. And then here, coming through the final corner onto the main back straight, the car just has oversteered naturally at high speeds that you have to be ready to catch at any given moment. And of course, the straightaways are the car's weakest point, and where it would pretty much be overtaken by any car with a lot more power. Even if it made up several seconds in the corners, it's difficult to make up the time on the straightaway. And coming to the end of the lap here, we see we're approaching 8 minutes, but can we get just under it? Yes, it's a 7:59.626. And again, this is with full fuel and tire wear. And for a 200 horsepower car, that's not too bad of a lap. Ultimately, this car is a lot of fun to drive, very challenging and rewarding to push at the limit. I didn't really test out different settings or tunes. I know the comfort tires make it a little bit easier to slide around, but I think what's really missing in the Gran Turismo series is a downhill, uphill, mountain pass type of course to really have fun with these cars. I'm sure the community would love to see something like the Pikes Peak course or a looped uphill downhill circuit in Japan, even if it's fictional, where people can hang out in possibly a parking lot area and just do casual races up and down a small mountain pass. But we all know that Gran Turismo isn't really fan driven in the development side, so all we can hope for is the right person seeing a video like this and maybe making a decision much later down the road to incorporate something like this in future games. But that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.
Stick around.